Mass graves, corpses in bags. These are the gruesome discoveries reported from the town of Bucha, prompting Ukraine to once again accuse Russia of carrying out war crimes, as a global outrage grew over the images coming out of towns near Kyiv. Now, on your screen are satellite images of Bucha, where about 45-foot trench can be seen dug into the grounds of a church where a mass grave has been identified. Now, Bucha's mayor has said that at least 300 residents had been killed in the town in the month-long occupation by the Russian army. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky directly blamed leaders in Moscow for the torture and the killings of civilians.
Зачем пытали до смерти обычных мирных людей в обычном мирном городе? Зачем душили женщин после того, как вырывали у них из ушей серьги? Как можно было насиловать женщин и убивать их на глазах у детей? Издеваться над их телами даже после смерти? Зачем давили танками тела людей? Что сделал в вашей России украинский город Буча? Как это все стало возможным?
Joining us live for more on this story is Rosie Burchard, coming to us from Brussels. Rosie, mass graves, the gruesome killing of civilians. Take us through the latest. This certainly amounts to war crimes. What now?
Well, here in Brussels, EU leaders and officials are been expressing their shock with regards to these reports. We've heard from the European Council President Charles Michel that more sanctions are on the way. That is how the European Union is planning to react to these reports which have emerged from Bucha. We know that when it comes to sanctions and trying to up their reaction to Moscow with regards to this war, European nations remain divided. Now, some really want to tighten the screws even further with a full embargo on Russian oil and gas. That's something Ukraine has called for. But other EU nations, including Germany and Hungary, have spoken out against such an embargo. They warn this would essentially be too risky for European Union's energy security and could have a devastating impact on the EU economy. In fact, the Belgian Prime Minister, who's part of that group that is opposing those kind of harsher sanctions, has said the EU is not at war with itself and that could risk hurting the European Union more than Moscow. But of course, these gruesome reports which have emerged are only adding to those chorus of the other EU countries and Ukraine, which are pushing for tougher sanctions, including that full energy embargo. The EU countries pushing for that include Lithuania and Poland.
Rosie, take us through some of the statements and condemnations that are coming in from Western countries on these mass graves.
We've heard from French President Emmanuel Macron just this morning, who says there are clear signs that war crimes could have been committed. He's also called for tougher sanctions. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki has gone even further. He's alluded to the fact that he believes this could amount to genocide. That was a view that was echoed, although perhaps slightly more cautiously, by Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Of course, at this time it must be said that Russia strongly rejects those claims. Russia has essentially said this is kind of a staged attempt by Kyiv to stir emotions from the West and get more weapons. Of course, that's something Ukraine itself would strongly deny, as Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, has, as you said, directly accused Moscow of this. We know that EU leaders also here in Brussels have been calling for further investigations into these alleged war crimes or these potential war crimes. They'd be supporting that investigation, which is ongoing by the International Criminal Court, and overall just outright condemnation and shock to these images which have emerged, which have of course shocked EU leaders, as they've shocked many viewers around the world.
Absolutely. Rosie, thank you very much for joining us with all the latest.
WION, now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.